Hello guys, how are you? This is JP Sarri, once again coming to you with another episode of Drop the Hammer. And today I want to talk about San Diego Comicon 2016. After all the dust has settled, after all is said and done, and we have seen and we're still seeing a lot of videos and photos and pictures coming out online after this big event. There's a lot to talk about, and today I want to talk on this episode. I want to talk specifically about the big company, the big name in the middle of the convention. That's always Sideshow Collectibles. Well, really, in talking about San Diego Comic-Con and about Sideshow, you know, there was, like always, every year Sideshow does amazing. Every year it seems that it gets better and better, and they have a big space and they have a big showroom, and it's always crowded, it's always packed. There's a lot of people there, always looking at all the new stuff that they have, and they always have some really cool stuff. And I'm gonna use my phone because I have to make, I made a big list of things that I want to talk, and I want to go in detail, and I'm gonna talk about the highlights, the things that really matter to me the most about this, in this case, Sideshow and the convention. Especially I want to talk about the Marvel stuff. I'm gonna start with Marvel, then I'm gonna move along. But definitely Rocket and Groot. That was definitely, we saw the prototype and it looks phenomenal. I really love it. Gentle Giant prior to a few years back produced a good one based on the movie, but this one blows it up out of the water. It's definitely much better. I like the design. Of course, he has the design and the artistic design is mostly based on what actually Marvel is doing right now with the characters. But definitely love it. I love it. It's just massive. It's well done. We saw Angela, Gamora, Captain Marvel, fantastic, beautiful, statues. Definitely Sideshow is improving in what they're producing. I really love them. It is fantastic. They were phenomenal. And of course, we saw Dark Phoenix. We already saw her before, a lot of the stuff, but she still looks phenomenal. Definitely a fantastic piece by Sideshow. Sideshow is maintaining the name, keeping their name. They bring great sculptors into the fray, and they keep, giving fantastic job, fantastic work when it comes to sculpting. We saw Deadpool, this new Deadpool PF, more action pose. Definitely very, very cool. Definitely was, out of nowhere, pretty much he came and everybody was extremely, extremely excited. It definitely has a cool things. It really kind of represents Deadpool right now. The way Deadpool is, it's been pretty much, it's becoming really popular and famous, especially after the movie. I love it. I love the design. It had a flow that it was just actually, I was talking this morning online with some people that they did one of in this case the blades that is slicing the grenade was bending in the convention, probably the last day of the convention. So people were already, you know how it is. Sometimes something happens, people already just throw in the, this is the end, kind of common, the QC is bad from Sideshow. There's always going to be two sides of the story in this part. There's always two approaches or two visions for a lot of people when they see things like that. People that they seem that everything is doom, and people that are still hopeful. And I would say that I'm a hopeful person. We're looking at a prototype. We're not looking at a production piece. So what you see right now is just what they're showing, showcasing for buyers to get interested. So yeah, sometimes prototypes, and it's not a rare thing, especially when they're encased in in a crystal, in a plastic crystal, in a plastic kind of case, and there's the heat, the lighting on top of them, very strong for hours on end. You have a lot of people there, even though there's air conditioning. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of movement. So yeah, prototypes get hit, and it's not that I saw that. Many others companies, they have the same problem. It is a very normal thing, especially for a prototype. But of course, those things will be ironed out. Things will be worked out, and I'm sure that in this case, Sideshow will tackle that. It's still early in production, really early in the process. This is just a prototype. So I don't see the need just to worry about it. Wolverine versus Hulk maquette. I was very helpful for this piece. It definitely is a nice piece, but I have some, not concerns, but I wasn't as impressed in the end. After what I saw it and coming into it, I felt that the piece is fantastic. It's like it's a combination between old school with new school, kind of. That was my impression of it. The Wolverine looks fantastic. Looks a little more modern, even with the the yellow suit. But in this case, Hulk. I just the pose, the sculpt is fantastic. I just didn't feel that the pose was as dynamic or really as as perfect as I want it to be. It just, it didn't feel as something that normally Sideshow does. So Sideshow is always well known for the style. They have a signature style of design. When they design pieces, they make it more kind of human-like, more artsy in many ways. Always expected to be more comic accurate. Bowen for me it's always been comic accurate, and I love that comic accuracy. This feels like a mismatch, but it feels like a combination of both. But in the end, the pose feels a little awkward. The way Hulk is kind of like falling off, and in this case Wolverine, on top of him. I don't know. It just some people love it. It's a 1/5 scale piece, so it's a maquette. It's a big maquette. It's not a small maquette. It's a big piece. It needs to grow on me. I just don't feel it as as some other people are saying that they love it. Definitely. So of course we saw the Punisher 6 scale figure. Sideshow's going into the 6 scale route. That they really pumping figures, also getting into the market that is becoming bigger and bigger. It was nice. I like all the features that come with it. All the stuff, and of course they have Deadpool 6 scale figure. They have many figures, so definitely Sideshow's doing fantastic on that end. Of course, we saw in the DC part, we saw Batman and the armor Batman from Batman v Superman. Definitely, even though the movie was not my favorite, and I mentioned in my review, definitely I like the designs of the suit, and in this case the statue looks fantastic. The armor version looks phenomenal with the light up features, and then of course you have to look at Black Canary. Fantastic, love it. She looks phenomenal. Huntress looks phenomenal. People are loving that. They're fantastic. In 1/4 scale premium formats. Killer Croc we already saw. It was a surprise about Cheetah. Definitely, she looks phenomenal. Well, I really liked the way it was. And Bane, even though he was unpainted, he is massive, and this is a fantastic looking piece. What I like about Sideshow is that they're also giving love to the villains, and I think love the direction that they're taking with the DC stuff, with the DC line, the premium format line. They're just definitely building a really beautiful collection versus what they have done with Marvel, that they've been very slow. It has to do a lot with the process, I suppose, approval process. But it seems to me personally, and going beyond that, I think DC was the winner. Not just because they had the best, trailers for the upcoming movies, but they also have fantastic toy lines, and collection lines and collectible lines, everywhere. Every company was pumping stuff for DC, so definitely like it. Of course we saw the 1960s Batman and Catwoman, phenomenal. I love that Catwoman. Batman Returns Catwoman, it's sculpted by my friend Joe Manna. Definitely phenomenal piece. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle statues. Coming into it, I was not really loving the design because it's more modern. I like the old school design and the old, the Comiquettes, they were phenomenal. But really coming into this, I definitely like the direction. I really enjoy the pieces. They really look phenomenal. Definitely, I really like this more what Prime One has done, with the newer movies, and they produce that. I really like this design. Definitely fantastic. It should have been, this type of design should have been used for the movies, in my opinion. But of course, I'm not the one directing the movies or producing the movies, so my say has not much into that. The Voltron maquette. Phenomenal. Like as many of you, as a kid, I grew up watching Voltron. Definitely fantastic cartoon back in the 80s. But yeah, I love it. I love that maquette. It's massive. And then of course you see a lot of the stuff for Star Wars: Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Kylo Ren. Phenomenal PFs. They look phenomenal. I love it. I think they're doing fantastic with them. In this case, with the Star Wars stuff. Boba Fett, Jango Fett, they were looking phenomenal. I love that. R2-D2, C-3PO. You have the First Order Stormtrooper, the Sand Trooper, and they have more. A lot of stuff for statues for in all the different scales as well. And then of course you got the Star Wars 6 scale figures. Definitely the figures are phenomenal. They're really competing with Hot Toys in quality. They are fantastic. I love it that Sideshow is expanding what they're doing. Of course, and then you have multiple premium formats, the legendary scale figures, all kind of things for all kind of franchises. It's scale life-size figures, the statues and bosses. Definitely, Sideshow brought a lot of stuff, and and then not just that, they have their partners there. You saw Prime One, and I definitely love what Prime One did. They have a very beautiful display. They have Optimus Prime, phenomenal. I really love Optimus Prime, the way they have done it. Of course, right now I know that they have a Wonderfest in Japan at the same time with this case San Diego Comicon, and Prime One had a lot of great stuff over there. They really kill it over there. They have a lot more stuff than they, what Sideshow was offering here. But definitely love it, and as you can see, like I said, they got the Optimus Prime, they have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle statues based on the movie. Those were phenomenal. Those are phenomenal. And of course, you had the Arkham Knight Batman, in this case, the 1/3 scale, huge, full of detail. Prime One is, in my opinion, one of the companies, or the company that does more details than anybody else. And of course, and they give you a lot of change outs as well, a lot of interchangeable parts. At the same time, that's XM, but Prime One has, in my opinion, it goes a little above with the quality and with the technicalities and how technical they are, because they have so much little parts and so much detail. So they got Arkham Knight Batman, Nightwing. That was a really pleasant surprise. I'm a fan of Nightwing, always been since the creation of the character. Batgirl, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn. They got Two-Face. They got Bane. That he looks massive and very well done. Batman Beyond. That was a favorite for a lot of people. They also had the Batman versus Superman Batman. Also the Superman for the movie. They had the Dark Knight Returns. A lot of people love it. Came with the rifle, not the little rifle, but the rifle. Batman Noel version, the Noel version statue. They have the Alien. They have the Alien, franchise. The rights for that Alien, for the Alien movies. Definitely, they have that. And they have the 1/4 scale. They only have the Superman, the New 52 1/4 scale statue. Pretty cool. Kind of animated in some ways. Mostly based on what the cartoons are. What the comics are doing right now. But I know in Wonderfest I saw some pictures. They have also in Japan they have Green Lantern. That is not a bad design. I'm not crazy about in this case the pose and some of the things that come with it, but definitely I like what in this case Prime One is doing. They also brought stuff from Iron Studios because they have partnership with Iron Studios. Spider-Man, that Spider-Man is a killer. Some people are not as keen with the whole thing because the base is huge and he has a lot of stuff, and the detail can be lost because there's so much to look at. And I understand the concern, but definitely Iron Studios is a company from Brazil, is just doing a fantastic job, and that Spider-Man is a killer. It has a more modern version of Spider-Man. It has the little influence of, I would say, Bagley. You can see that in the art. Definitely phenomenal pose, phenomenal. That's a lot of detail. They have Falcon because they're producing all that stuff for the movies. It's phenomenal. Those were the two that were in display for the Sideshow booth. But they also have other things, and in other places in the convention there were other. With Iron Series was showcasing 1/10 scale. I don't know if it was brought by a different company. I think Toonami maybe. I'm not sure. But you have the Batman v Superman 1/10 scale statues. Also, they got stuff for the Batman Arkham Knight. Definitely a phenomenal piece with actually Batman is falling from the sky. Definitely phenomenal on 1/10, and they had the Ghostbusters line. It was phenomenal. Ghostbusters has been receiving a lot of love lately with a lot of collectible companies. A lot of collectible companies produce a lot of great stuff. Also you got Cool Props. Normally Cool Props does a lot of life-size boss, and they have the alien boss that were on the Sideshow display. Some people love that kind of stuff. Hot Toys. Hot Toys definitely partners with Sideshow. Sideshow has the rights to distribute internationally for them. So Suicide Squad, of course, in the center. Everybody's looking for the movie. The figures were there. You got Batman v Superman figures, phenomenal. You saw the Batmobile. Hot Toys knows how to build, in this case, vehicles for their action figures. These are definitely top of the line when it comes about figures. Phenomenal. You saw Daredevil from the Netflix show. Deadpool. I really love the Deadpool. It really has a lot of great cool things there. Figures for the Captain America Civil War. You saw all the Captain America, Falcon, all of them. Definitely they have that. Star Wars The Force Awakens. They have a lot of figures there. The Millennium Falcon cockpit. And definitely, when you see stuff like that, you have to kind of think yourself as a kid. I'm a kid looking at that. I feel like, man, I wish I was, a kid back again. I can play with these little things and toys, even though they're not for play. It's just phenomenal. It just brings your childhood memories, and Hot Toys knows how to nail it. They nail it every time when it comes about stuff like this. Definitely love what they did. They got Race Speeder, the machine that she was using in the desert that she was riding around. Phenomenal, also full of detail. The paint job, phenomenal. Definitely fantastic. The Interceptor, I don't know if it's going to be for sale, but that was huge. phenomenal piece. And of course, you have Back to the Future Part 2. You have the the DeLorean, and of course McFly and Doc. There. It's phenomenal. I can say, Hot Toys really nails it. That's the reason why they are the top in the market. People love their action figures. They're pricey, but they're worth the price. Definitely, they attack. They tackle every single franchise, every single movie, every single thing that comes, and they do a phenomenal job. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I'm really excited for what Sideshow is doing. Yes, there's going to be always concerns about if this is what's going to be in the end of the production, if you're going to get the same. And of course, you never get that. But just the excitement to see all these things in the direction. Sideshow has gone through a lot, and especially in the last few years, there was a lot of criticism towards Sideshow quality control. There was a lot of different battles, a lot of people. But even though they were heavily criticized, they have gained so many followers, they have grown as a company. They're selling more than ever. Definitely, they're making a lot of money. They're producing a lot of stuff. They're covering a lot of ground. The competition has been good, in my opinion. Having XM, Prime One, Iron Studios, and many other companies that are coming into the play field have made this game more competitive. And Sideshow is stepping up their game. Yes, there's always going to be flaws, and I want people to understand this, especially if you're coming into collecting, to understand that they collect, you're always going to find some bad apples within the good apples. You're always going to find some troll problems and some issues here and there. But one thing in my experience dealing with Sideshow over the years is that they have the best QC department. Well, not the best QC department, the best customer service department, and they tackle problems. So before going into make judgment or believing what people say, just find out for yourself. That's why they're still in business. A business stands because they offer a service, and if they don't offer good service, they're not in business anymore. That's why so many companies have disappeared, because they did not produce good service. Well, Sideshow has always done that. Yeah, they have encountered trouble. Sometimes factories are not doing what they're supposed to. They have to change factories. They have to change production. They have to tie certain things here and there. But they offer something back to the customer. And sometimes when people say, I don't like what they do because they got, a lot of people say, I don't like what Sideshow is doing because they, this piece came wrong, this other piece came wrong. They got trouble. I got like 10 pieces that came wrong, and they haven't never replaced them. But in my opinion, I always think, well, if you don't like what they're doing, why you keep buying from them? Why you keep just spending your money on them? They gotta be doing something right. Or is it that you just simply, you love it hard, you just don't like, you like to be abused? That's my opinion, and that's why I have this Drop the Hammer, when I can just share my opinion. So definitely, I think Sideshow did good. It was an amazing convention for them, and I'm definitely looking forward to what's next. So once again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned, because I have other episodes of this blog where I'm going to talk about more of the other companies that they came to play to San Diego Comicon. So thank you, friends. Talk to you later.